Today we're continuing something warm, romantic, and just a little bit nostalgic, the Peach Rose collection. And this is where the whole story begins. The bed. There's something special about a bed in miniature form. It isn't just furniture. It sets the mood for the entire room. It defines softness. It defines comfort. It defines scale in a way that instantly makes everything else feel real. This design carries a soft peach tone. Not bright, not loud, but warm, gentle, almost sunlit. It feels like aged wood that's been quietly living in a cottage for years. And paired with those delicate rose panels, it becomes more than structure. It becomes atmosphere. What I love about this piece is that it balances simplicity and elegance. The lines are clean. The form is classic. But the floral detailing gives it personality. Just enough romance without overwhelming the design. And here's the magic part. This entire bed begins as flat paper. Flat sheets. Clean prints. Quiet shapes waiting to become something dimensional. And somewhere between folding and assembling, it transforms. That transformation never gets old. There's something deeply satisfying about watching structure appear from something so simple. It's a reminder that craftsmanship doesn't require heavy tools or complicated materials. Sometimes all you need is patience, glue, and the willingness to slow down. And yes, patience. Because miniature work has a funny way of teaching you that rushing never helps. Ever. You try to rush? The glue says no. You skip holding a piece for 5 seconds? The paper reminds you who's in charge. Miniatures are humble teachers. But once everything starts coming together, you begin to see it. The softness of the peach tone against the floral panels, the proportions of the headboard, the balance between structure and decoration. And suddenly, it doesn't look like paper anymore. It looks like a tiny heirloom. The Peach Rose collection has a completely different emotional temperature compared to the cooler blue pieces. This one feels warmer, more intimate, more romantic. If the blue collection feels like fresh morning light, this one feels like golden afternoon sunlight through linen curtains. It's cottage warmth. It's soft vintage charm. It's French country, but with a gentle modern restraint. And what makes this bed especially important is that it anchors everything else in the collection. The nightstand will echo its tone. The dresser will mirror its detailing. The vanity will carry the same warmth. Even the seating pieces will reflect its softness. This bed sets the rhythm. When you build it, you're not just assembling one object. You're establishing the foundation for an entire miniature interior. And let's talk about scale for a moment. There's something incredibly satisfying about holding a bed in your hand. A full bedroom centerpiece, resting in your palm. It feels slightly magical. Also slightly dangerous if you have cats. Let's just say, miniature beds are apparently very attractive to curious paws. But aside from that, the real beauty here is in the process. This project involves detailed assembly, and is best enjoyed slowly. That sentence matters. Because this isn't about speed. It's not about finishing as fast as possible. It's about enjoying the quiet rhythm of making something small and precise. There's a meditative quality to miniature building. The focus narrows. The outside world gets quieter. The only thing that exists for a while is alignment, proportion, and balance. And when the final form stands upright, you feel it. That tiny spark of satisfaction. I made this. And that's powerful. Especially in a world where so much is instant and disposable. This bed isn't instant. It asks for attention. And it rewards it. Styling it afterward is half the fun. A soft blanket. A tiny pillow. Maybe a miniature book resting casually at the edge. When you place it into a setting, it instantly transforms the room. And here's something interesting. Even though it's a decorative piece, it carries emotional weight. Because beds are symbolic. They represent comfort, rest, safety. And in miniature form, that symbolism becomes charming instead of literal. It's cozy, without taking itself too seriously. And that's the balance we want. Not overly ornate. Not overly minimal. Just romantic enough. Just structured enough. Just detailed enough. The Peach Rose collection is about warmth without heaviness, vintage without feeling old, floral without feeling busy, and this bed embodies all of that. As you continue building the rest of the collection, you'll notice how beautifully everything begins to connect. The tones match, the rose motifs repeat in subtle ways, the proportions align. It becomes cohesive, and cohesion is what turns individual pieces into a true collection. Now imagine this bed placed in a softly lit miniature room. Gentle peach tones on the walls, light fabric curtains, maybe a lace rug. Barmambien lichting. You don't need much. The bed carries the room, and that's the strength of a well-designed centerpiece. So whether you're building this for a dollhouse, a diorama, an art installation, or simply for the joy of miniature craft, this piece sets the tone. Take your time with it. Enjoy the rhythm. Let the details breathe. And remember, if something doesn't align perfectly on the first try, that's part of the charm. Perfection in miniatures isn't about flawlessness. It's about care. And care always shows. Thank you for building this piece of the Peach Rose collection. Next, we'll continue expanding the story, one warm, romantic miniature at a time.